Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are here to talk about the brand new Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I have been anxiously awaiting a fairly tardy arrival of this palette. He certainly took his time getting to me, and during that time I have been feverishly avoiding other reviews. I just hate to see them first. No matter what you do, it kind of gets in your head. But the little bits I've heard and seen, little snippets of things and sentences here and there, is it's kind of a mixed review palette. So what I did today when it got to me early is I have played with it and done quite a few looks off camera. We're going to do one look on camera. And I've also sat on the floor, as I like to do, surrounded by my other Natasha Denona palettes. Who else likes to do that? I know I do. And I've looked to see what else I think kind of looks similar. So we have some shade comparisons in the arm swatches that are just coming up in a moment here. If there is something, I have every Natasha Denona, so if there is something here or from another brand that you like cross swatch and you would like it, you know I am always happy to do that, especially when it helps you guys out with your purchase needs. Just let me know down below here or over on Instagram, and then I'm happy to even put pictures of it on Instagram for you. If that helps you, it is my pleasure to do it. And I do know that these purchases can be kind of aggravating, especially if you're in an area where you can't return. So I'm hoping that this will help you today. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. The Natasha Denona Zendo palette is $65, considered to be one of her midi, M-I-D-I, midi palettes, probably like the 4th or 5th now of her midi palettes. Love this size. You get a nice size pan without too many choices. It's a little less intimidating, and the price point is lovely at $65 for very high-end makeup. That is not bad. This is an extension to the mini Zendo palette, which you guys probably already knew. Zendo being very zen, capturing the 5 elements of the earth: water, air, fire, space, earth itself. So we have a warm palette with a little bit of punches of cooler tones, which I think is kind of cool in itself. Not just cool tone, but also cool. So take a look at it there. There is the Zendo Midi palette for you, Midi, M-I-D-I. We'll look at the mini in a moment. And there it is. As you see, it is mostly warm shades with those few pops of kind of greenish blue cool shades within it. We are going to swatch that in a moment for you, so don't you worry. I also want to show you it next to the mini Zendo palette, which preceded it, came first. I think they're actually kind of nothing alike, to be honest with you. I really do. I think they're nothing alike. Here is the mini, which was $25 underneath it, midi, $65 extension. Actually, they work really, really well together and are quite complementary, quite complementary together, and can be worn together and used to extend the life of each of the palettes. But do they actually look alike? If you have this, do you have no need for the larger Zendo? Not really. They're not really the same, but we'll swatch them. I was also looking at the bronze palette. In fact, today on my face, I wore the bronze face palette. Now, obviously, in terms of the pops of cool shades, we don't have that in the bronze, but here is the Zendo, larger Zendo, and here is the large bronze palette. There's just some of those bronze and golden and copper shades are quite similar if you're looking to recreate the look. So I think those are kind of very, very, very similar. And then I was also looking, when I looked at these blues and greens in here, and I was sitting on the floor with my palettes, the Metropolis came to mind. Metropolis being a much larger, slightly intimidating palette for a lot of people. But look at those shade similarities with the blues and greens, and we will swatch it. That came to mind. And of course, there's also coppers and bronzes and golds in the Biba palette, which I should have brought out here as well, and probably countless others. So this is something that can be kind of duped within the Natasha Denona brand, really. What I want to do for you now is I want to show you some arm swatches, starting with just this Zendo palette alone. Then I'm going to go right to, and I will label them on the swatches so you'll know the Zendo and the mini Zendo, so you can kind of see how they coordinate, though they are dissimilar in terms of shades. And then I'm going to show you it next to some selected shades from the bronze and selected shades from the Metropolis palette, just so you can see that the vibe can be made by combining, in case you already own those two. And I very well could have put Biba in there as well. Really a quick word before we go to the swatches, in case you didn't know, we do have magnetized pans and little pinholes that will definitely pop out the shades so you can rearrange and make your own, especially if you are a working makeup artist. That's pretty handy. Or if you're going on a trip and you just want to take a few, that is really, really nice. I enjoy that. So let's go to the swatches, and then we're going to try this look on. I took a little bit of a risk with this look and I think it paid off, and I want to show you guys how I did it in my own quick, inimitable style. So stay right there. Okay, so I won't lie when I say I played with this just a little bit this morning, because I kind of wanted to have a feel for whether or not the shadows performed well. As we know, sometimes Natasha Denona can be hit and miss. And so far I haven't really found a bad one. So we're gonna do one look together in my own inimitable, quick style. So let's go ahead and get started with this shade right here in the top middle. These shades all have names. Notice I didn't tell it to you. I'm not going to start looking at that. I guess I should. Do we care? Shade right in the middle. Some shades, I find with shade names, you guys, I'm going to switch brushes. I don't know what I'm doing here. I find with shade names, if the shade becomes super popular, I've mentioned this before, like Sextraterrestrial in Pat McGrath, and there's a few others. When they become super popular, then we know the names. But if not, I just rather point at it because, well, A, because lazy, and B, because it won't really make too much sense to us unless that shade takes on a life of its own and becomes really kind of famous, for lack of a better word. Can a eyeshadow shade become famous? Okay, so there we go. There is just one, I think that's called Balance, in the middle, just there. Okay, now I want to go ahead and take one of these kind of darker, ruddier shades into the middle and side. This is not a look I've already tried. And just kind of brush in circles. Yes, I am using the same rougher brush. Why not? That's not necessarily laziness, really, because I'm not, I joke, but I don't really consider myself a lazy person. I just figure, why not? It's going on top of that kind of brown shade that I first started with, so why not? And I really wanted to use some bolder colors. And again, I'm just kind of doing an everyday look, because remember, I might be a beauty editor, but I am not a makeup artist. I've just watched a lot of makeup artists, studied a lot of makeup artists when they didn't know how much I was studying them. Okay, I'm gonna take that same red and go under, not all the way, because I really don't want it to look like I have hay fever. Though I do have hay fever, you know, what are you gonna do? Okay, let's take in some of this. I'm really interested in this color down here, and this will either be way too Christmassy and horrible. No, it's not, yay. I thought I was a little bit worried about going with a green and a red. What is it? Green and red should never be seen except upon an Irish queen. Raise your hand if you're from Ireland and you're an Irish queen. But I think it's working here. I think got a little bit muddy in the corner, almost like a black, but I kind of like it. I'm just kind of trying to play with some colors I wouldn't normally kind of play with, and just spice up this kind of blah sweater I have on today. Doesn't have much color to it, so I thought maybe it would be kind of a fun little burst of color. And let's see, I want to go onto the lid. Let's try to stay away from too many colors. The thing about Natasha Denona that I've told you guys in the past is you really do want to try, if you can, to work in quadrants or lines, and I did not do that today. I just decided to hop all over the place. There are no rules. There are no rules, so please do as you please. And I'm going to put a little bit of this into the corner. This is not a great brush for it, but I didn't find one. I didn't bring one over here, I should say, but not bad, kind of fun. I kind of like it. Let me put on some mascara, and then I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on this palette because I do have quite a few. Okay, off camera, I literally did nothing to the look that we did so quickly on camera. I literally just added in a little bit of Huda Legit Lashes mascara and some black coffee, is it? Pat McGrath Permagel eyeliner. That's it, just on the lower lash line there and tight lined with it. That's all I did. I love it. I'm so pleased with the look. Like I said, I had been playing with it and I've done some things with blues and stuff today, but I love mixing that red and the olive. I was frightened it wouldn't work, but I really think it didn't. I think it brings my little sweater here alive, which was kind of just blending in with my skin. So I am really happy with this. Now, do you need this palette? Okay, well, let's break it into a few sections. If, like me, you are a Natasha Denona collector, then of course you do because you are a completionist like I am. If you pick and choose and you do not really have a lot of Natasha Denona palettes, or say you have maybe one full and then a lot of the smaller, then I think this is a best of a lot of worlds. And I think you could definitely use both the light and the cool shades in here. If you never bought Metropolis, this could be your version of Metropolis or Bronze. It's kind of the best of a lot of Natasha Denona, this beautiful gold. I really enjoy that kind of cream to powder formula. Some people don't like it. For me personally, it's always a winner, and I think all of these shades, I've played with so many of them now, perform really beautifully. So if you only own a little bit here and there, or if you're a completionist, this is a great one. If you own a lot of Natasha Denona palettes and you're looking to save some money, as I showed you in the swatches, you could easily use Bronze or even Biba palettes along with, say, Metropolis, and get those blues and get that same feel that I just got here easily with this palette. So do you need this? I don't know. It's something you'll have to decide for yourself, but I really think if you can answer those questions, that will give you a better idea. In terms of how it performs, like I said, I've played with a lot of the shades, and I think it performs absolutely beautifully. This is a winner for me. I love the mix of warm and cool together. It is something I will wear a lot. I think this is a very dramatic look, but I could pull it off easily for day, as long as I dress it down. Everywhere else, I could pull this off easily for day. And for me, this is a little less dramatic than, say, the larger, more intimidating Metropolis palette. So I am already a fan. I will now start watching some other reviews and see what others say now that I've avoided them for so long. But I want to know your thoughts. Has your palette arrived yet, or was yours a little bit late like mine? What are your thoughts? Will you be ordering this? Are you waiting for a sale? I just want to hear everything you're thinking, so leave your comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope you did. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel and helping me grow my community here on YouTube. I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.